coach, you had a fair amount of turnover from some key spots. How do you integrate guys in such a short amount of time, and how do you rely on some of the leaders on the team to push them along?
Yeah, we did lose a lot of players last year. A lot of our guys obviously went on to play pro, and so these were big players in our program. But we have a really good group of leaders that are here right now. Curtis, Gianluca are going to be our two captains this year, and they've done a great job in integrating the new boys. I'll be honest, the boys have really got along very, very well over the first couple of weeks. The tough thing is with men's soccer, women's soccer, soccer in general in this country is that we don't get a lot of time. And I know everyone's in the same spot right now, but you've got to kind of hit the ground running straight away. So we do rely on our captains to do a lot of that, but all we can do is everything that's in our control right now, and that's get out on the field as much as possible. Also be aware of injuries and injury prevention as much as possible, and just make sure the guys are feeling wanted, and encouraging them in training sessions and getting some games in, which we've done. So we feel that we've done a good job over the first 2 weeks of pre-season.
You named Curtis and Gianluca as captains this season. Talk about what they mean to the team and what you expect from them in their final seasons.
They just need to lead with by example. At the end of the day, those two guys have been very good for us last year. Both played a lot of minutes, and they take care of themselves professionally with their bodies, what they eat. Really look after themselves. The guys need to make sure they follow that lead, and then on the field they give everything for 90 minutes or 110 minutes, whatever we need at that time. So they just need to follow, lead by example, and I know they'll do that throughout the season.
Progress with the program has been tremendous in a matter of few seasons. How do you ensure you continue on that path in 2019 and not take a step back?
Well, I think it is hard to do that, and the nature of college sport is obviously you're going to have turnover. So we certainly think with things like our culture, that's going to obviously keep improving. Our guys are fantastic in the classroom, do work in the community. Those are great. Obviously the on-field things as well, the results. That's hard to maintain year in, year out. So I challenge the guys to that. It's an incredibly tough conference. We finished 5th in the region last year. In every other sport, that 5th in the region would have gone to the national tournament. Men's soccer is not that way. So for us, we've just got to keep remaining towards the top of the conference. Obviously, we got a couple of first place votes this year, which is a massive bonus for our boys. Good bit of confidence, but there's a long way to go, and we just have to focus on our first game, which is obviously St Thomas next Thursday.
Tested early, especially with Lenoir Rhyne and Wingate on the road. What is the importance of these matches? What do you hope to learn about your team?
Well, obviously we have it's a big change this year. The change is obviously that we are now going to a region of 10. The top 10 in the region go to the national tournament. So Lenoir Rhyne and Wingate are in that, and so we need to perform against those teams. And so going to a place like those two teams that have been in the national tournament, Wingate won it a few years ago, and competing against top quality sides with our squad is really important. Gets us good experience, and it gets us ready for the Sunshine State. At the end of the day, we want to compete against the best teams in the country, and in order to be the best, we've got to compete against the best. As cliche as it may sound, our guys, they want that challenge, and that's where our program's at now.
In terms of newcomers, who has stood out in the preseason? Who do you expect to fill significant minutes?
We've got so many newcomers; it's hard to pick out. A lot of individuals, but Matty Cornish certainly looked very, very sharp in his first couple of games. Thomas Esbro, true freshman, 18 years old from Norway. He's done a great job over he's played every minute of every game practically. The first 3 games that we played in this pre-season, and obviously the bringing back returners and people like that is always great. Quentin Aguilar is also another great player that's come in from Mount Olive at left back that shores us up at the back a little bit more. So certainly those 3 that have come in and done a great job.
Who may be 1 or 2 guys that were on the team last season that you expect to make a considerable leap in terms of contribution?
I think Obviously, Brian Backboard at right back. He was behind Curtis Thorne and Arns Carinard last year. He can play anywhere across the back line, but I've been really impressed with his fitness coming into this full season. I think he's someone that could step up for us this year. Lucas Desaullier in midfield. Again, he came on for minutes last year, but wasn't a starter all the time. I think he's someone that we're going to be relying on, and then the same old faces in terms of Tito, Curtis, Gianluca, Alex Berg, Sebastian. They're going to come back and hopefully hit the ground running and shake a little bit of that rust off, get some goals, keep some clean sheets.
What has been your assessment throughout the preseason?
The boys came in relatively fit. I think that we need to certainly be fitter. We've had 3 preseason games so far, all very good competition. I'm really happy with where the team is right now on this day. Compared to a week ago, I believe that we're a team that's going to get better as the season goes on. I know that we have a lot of new guys that need to be integrated into a new system, and they need to learn how we play, and that can take time. And we know that. And also, you've got to think about the fact they haven't played in, some of the guys haven't played in 4 months, haven't touched the ball in 4 months. So, they've got to shake that rust off and work on their first touch and receiving the ball and all that sort of stuff. So, overall, I'm really happy where the team culture is. They're working really hard. That's a major win for us. We've got to keep working on our fitness and just keep working on our sharpness on the ball and speed of play as much as possible.
Final question, Coach. Expectations are obviously pretty high. What do you consider a successful season?
Expectations change year in, year out. Our expectation, I think, right now for our program is always to compete in the conference. I think if you're competing in this conference, you're competing nationally. We finished joint second last year, and we were ranked in the top 25 for, the majority of last season. So I think if, our first port of call is just trying to get into that conference tournament. If we can do that, top 6, which is still incredibly tough to do, then we can go from there and start focusing on tournament action and seeing if we're in a good position for nationals and focus on the region, however that may be. So just take it game by game. Again, as cliche as it may sound, we've got to take it game by game and just keep focusing on what we're doing as a team rather than everyone else.